facility. Depending on how many violations you have, the rating may go up or down. It's, unsatisfactory is the worst, then there's conditional B, then there's conditional A, and satisfactory is up top. And this particular day was conditional B. Well, it's just one step above unsatisfactory, basically.
So it's not unsatisfactory. Again, it's
correct.
For me, it's someone that doesn't have a whole lot of experience in this with these types of reports.
Yeah, I believe the July inspection we gave an unsatisfactory rating due to there was no hot water at the facility. So if you don't have hot water, you can't clean and sanitize and stuff like that. So, the rating went down on that particular day.
There's a position that a conditional B result is unsatisfactory with it. It's a failure. And we know that the license should be revoked here tonight.
Yes.
Okay. And the only other question I want to ask you is with respect to these deficiencies, what sort of mechanism there is in place for someone like the Low Medical Grad Rescue to dispute them or question them or discuss or have some sort of dialogue with your office or you in particular to have them resolved or offer some sort of explanation as to the deficiency you raised.
What's the question?
Is there a mechanism in place for someone such as the Low Medical Grad Rescue to have an open dialogue or dispute or receive some sort of explanation as to the deficiency that you raised?
Well, these are the guidelines that the state recommends. So, a copy has been given to the owner when she first opened up, and at least once a year we give a copy of the regulations. It's the owner's responsibility to read the regulations and to know them and to abide by them, and that's how you would get a satisfactory rating. As far as we're always there to answer questions. I don't know what else to tell you.
I have no further questions.
I have no other witnesses or evidence to present at this time, so you rest. I would just ask for a brief opportunity at the end. So.
Okay. Please sum up the case.
I'm sorry?
You can sum up.
You can ask the witnesses.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm going to ask Justin Edmonds. I'm going to ask Justin Edmonds a couple of questions. Justin, what is your position with the Low Medical Grad Rescue?
I'm the vice president.
Okay. And is your explain for the governing body, if you could, how you care for these animals and your opinion as to whether or not they're being properly cared for?
The care of the animals it's a really tricky question to answer because we do care for the animals. We're there on site every day taking care of the animals. We also have volunteers. We are a 100% volunteer-based organization. It is difficult to have somebody there 24/7, which the health department has intimated to us in the past that is what they would expect, that there is somebody always there taking care of the animals, feeding them, watering them all day long. It's not possible. It's not possible in any shelter situation. And we strive to be there as often as we can. I mean, my wife, we have a young son, and my wife's got a medical condition, so she can't do all the physical work, so it's limited to myself. Trying to be there after work, which is where the 10 midnight hours come from. There was nothing that we've seen that says when those hours had to be, just that we had to have them, which is something that we highly dispute because we don't take in lost animals from the public. We get owner surrenders and and transfers from other organizations. So to require us to know that we're going to be there 2 hours every day to deal with that, it's not really, it's just one of many regulations and issues that we've had from the beginning, trying to deal with the health department and trying to work with them on these things. So, I mean, we put in a lot of time at the building, and we do take care of the animals, in our opinion, very well. Do we do it to the standard that the health department is requiring? Obviously, they don't feel that we are. What we do follow is the guidelines under the USDA for the Animal Welfare Act, and their guidelines for rabbits and other small animals, which do require they mandate we feel what's a more appropriate standard of care than the health department, which would be not only burdensome cost-wise for an operation where most of the operating funds come out of our pockets, there's a lot of issues and a lot of things that would be impossible for any small organization that's not receiving government money to deal with, especially in the facility that we're in. I mean, honestly, it was a garage, and we had to put in a lot of work to get it cleaned up and working, for our purpose. And we do what we can. I mean, we're hoping that the board would recognize that.
And you do recognize that the Board of Health does have jurisdiction over your facility at this point, correct?
Absolutely. And in their opinion, they do, and we would agree with that in the thought that we're operating an animal shelter. However, in our opinion, we don't operate an animal shelter. We operate what's known as a rescue. Our animals tend to come from shelter situations, other places where they would otherwise be euthanized for lack of space or lack of experience with those particular animals. And then we keep them, we do not euthanize them, and then we adopt them out to towns. So we feel that we serve a different client or different market. The health department does not actually, in newer laws, they do seem to recognize that animal rescues are not shelters, but they don't really designate that in their current regulations.
Is it your goal to comply with all municipal regulations, ordinances, as well as all regulations that are applicable to you from any other state, county, entity?
Yeah, we absolutely strive to comply as best we can. I mean, it's honestly, it's difficult sometimes to make all the phone calls and, get into the office to speak maybe with Ed at any given time, just because of, our different situations and our operating hours being in the middle of the night versus, his being in the daytime. But we do try to make an effort to be in touch and deal with that when we can, and as often as we can.
And you're willing to continue to work with the zoning officer and the township, and to do whatever they determine necessary to maintain your business permit?
Absolutely.
Just a couple of things I wanted you to address. At one point, I think Mr. Toussaint mentioned that there was a raffle going on at the facility. Is that accurate?
In the past, we have had raffles at the facility, as many nonprofit organizations do at their events.
When you say in the past, when might that take place?
In December of 2010 and in December of 2011, we had done that. We did not do one in December of 2012 because of issues that it was brought to our attention that, if you go to any nonprofit event, you're probably going to see a 50-50 or a Chinese auction. It was brought to our attention by the Attorney General that is not allowed practice. We did apply for a raffle license, but because we run ours over 3 days, none of their designations fit us, so we did not run a raffle this year.
So there was no raffle run, we say this year, there was no raffle run 2012, there's no plans for a raffle
Right.
to be run 2013 or any time thereafter without the appropriate licensing.
Right, until we get a raffle, permit from the state, we have no intention of holding it up successfully.
Is there anything else you'd like for the board to hear or you'd like to add to the hearing tonight?
I have a question for Mr. Evans.
Sure.
When you said you applied for a raffle application,
Yes.
that would have been through the township.
No, you have to apply with the state first and get an approval from the state, and then you would apply through the township.
You have a copy of the application.
Not with me, no. But we would not, we wouldn't just go on state approval. We do know that you do have to apply with the township. You can list up to 12 events that you want to hold. The township can, of course, approve or deny that. But we, again, we have no intention of moving forward with that until we have ruling back from the state.
Thank you. And no question.
I have no question.
I'd like to ask a question of the owners. Fees,
We 100% stay neuter. Many people don't realize that is something that should be done for the health of the animals, especially rabbits. Most people think it's just for cats and dogs, and that's part of what we do in our operation is we get out there and raise the awareness of that issue, and then we do it with all of our animals.
And there's one other witness who was unfortunately not here at the beginning of the proceeding, was not able to be sworn yet, and that's the veterinarian for the Little Miracle Drug Rescue, whose name is Lindsay Castano. Is Lindsay here? Could I ask for her to be sworn and
We have no objection.
Ms. Castano?
Yes.
Could you please
Stand and raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Ms. Castano, what role or what service do you provide to the Little Miracle Drug Rescue?
As a science vet, I go monthly to look at all the animals over. On those monthly visits, I inspect any animals that Christy has any concerns over. We've done spays and neuters at my hospital for multiple rabbits over the past 6 months.
And is it your opinion that the rabbits and other animals at the facility are properly taken care of?
Yes, all the inspections, the monthly visits that I go to, I find the rabbits in good health. All of them are good weight. Christy is very knowledgeable about all the rabbits that are present. She knows all of them by name. I'll ask her what rabbit is in. There's a rabbit that I noticed in whatever cage. She'll know right away which rabbit that is, which I find commendable. Her attention to the rabbits. They're all in good weight. Always have clean food and water when I go to the visits, and ample amounts of hay.
And Ms. Castano, my last question would be for you to state your qualifications, your licensing, any other degrees, experience.
I'm a doctor of veterinary medicine, graduated from Purdue University in 2011. Been practicing now for a year and a half, mainly the small animal practice in Cherry Hill.
I have nothing else.
Ma'am, may I ask, have you ever conducted any operations at the Little Rabbit Shelter?
No surgery center.
You're familiar that, or you're aware that that's not permitted, you're correct?
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes.
And have you reviewed the Department of Health inspection reports over the last 2 years?
No, I have not.
Okay. So you have no idea what those reports say in regard to violations, is that correct?
Only with regard to what Christy tells me.
Right. Well, my question was, you haven't reviewed any of those reports?
No.
Right. You have no knowledge as to whether or not those reports are correct or not correct, correct? You have no knowledge as to whether or not what those reports state are correct or not correct?
Well, to a certain extent from my visits and what I see, I can agree or disagree with the statements.
Right, but you don't know what they say?
No.
Okay.
That's
And
part of the reason why I came to this meeting tonight, to see what some of the...
And do you agree that that in order for this shelter to conduct its operations, that it needs to comply with the Camden County Health Department regulations?
Yes.